digging for the remains of Confederate General William Loring, and we've got a few protesters out here and some reporters. Here you can get a look. That's News for Jack's down there doing an interview, and then here's there's a shot of the workers, and there's some heavy equipment right there, and they have a fence around it, so I'm standing on a trash can, and there's not very many people out here right now. This whole thing was done, the statue was removed sometime between 3 and 6 a.m. and so one of the protesters told me, a lot of people just aren't out here because people are at work. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here.
There's no reason these monuments have to do this. This is the work, this is the beginning of the tear down of the country, the burning. The same people that want this monument down are the same people that hate the American flag. It is the same group that trampled and burned the U.S. flag. It's the same group that burned down Baltimore and Minneapolis. The same people, the same mindset. It's a false narrative. It's communist, Marxist, liberal, God-hating, Bible-hating, truth-hating, history-hating.
So thanks to Travis Wilson for joining in. And Travis Wilson asked, why are they digging for remains? It's because the General Loring his remains were buried under a monument honoring him, and the actual statue was taken out early this morning, and so the thought is that the remains are down where at the base of the monument. So that's where. And thank you to Mark Goldman for tuning in from Los Angeles. Let's see, we got a comment from State of Hockey saying Bible hating. Well, it is true. I have heard some people who have come out and protest think that some of these things are an assault on religion. Utopian, thanks for your comment. You're saying it's a burial site. WTF. Okay, here they're going. They're starting to do something over there, ripping up a bush. So the monument was taken down because it's a Confederate monument. One of the relatives of General Loring wrote a letter to the editor some months ago, and he said that the general was not racist, had nothing to do with race, and he objected that the statue was connected to race.
Here's the destruction in the background.
So they're digging into the site where the monument once stood, pulling out some shrubs. Then we have State of Hockey, a comment. I don't like the fact that the kids are spewing hate as well. That's sad. Thanks for that comment. And I haven't heard anyone talking about the hurricanes. It's a hot, humid, cloudy morning here. It rained a little bit this morning, but right now it's clear. Here's a comment asking if I think he'll actually be buried down there. Yes, I do think he's there. I mean, I have no way of knowing for sure, but I do think that his remains are there. My understanding is that he was cremated in 1920. So the remains, the cremated remains, the ashes of General Loring should be down there. Here's a comment saying that the Confederacy stood for racism. How could a guy have, I guess, died for that cause if he were not a racist? And then a comment asking if it's an urn. That's what I heard, that it was some sort of protected, enclosed urn or case. But I got this from one man on the site who is a member of a General William Loring group that is dedicated to remembering him, and so I think that information could be accurate. Here's a question: so if he's there, do they have to stop?
They can actually be destroying it now. We don't know.
Yeah, there's a comment from a witness down here saying that they could be destroying it as we speak because they're digging into it.
None on site. No archaeologists over there.
No archaeologists on site. So there's a complaint there that there's not an archaeologist on site. So it looks like the actual monument was on top of that slab. So I guess that the remains would be under that slab, but I really don't know. So the city does have an office that examines historical artifacts, and there's usually quite a permit process and quite a lengthy process to dig and to do this sort of thing. So you would think that there's a paper trail somewhere about this operation. Then we got a comment saying, "Good riddance. America needs to stop worshiping losers and traitors." Let's see. Do you know why Confederate politicians weren't hanged? I don't know the answer to that. This particular general, he died of natural causes. Well, he died of pneumonia in 1886. He was in his late 60s. He was a soldier for more than 50 years. Lost his left arm in battle. Here we got tourists going by. St. Augustine is a big tourist town. The city calls itself the oldest in the nation. It was founded in 1565. Some commenters have noticed that there's kid protesters here. Some of them shouting liberal communists.
You can put that on your record. You can say I spoke with him, but he's too distraught.
I'll be around today, sir. It's later.
Okay, now it looks like they're digging down deeper there. So we got a comment, maybe the lady in the hat is an archaeologist? Maybe so, maybe so. You wouldn't think they'd do this without an archaeologist or somebody on site who's an expert. There was a comment, I don't know if you heard it, someone yelled, "Grave diggers." Yelled, "Grave diggers." Does that bother any of you?
I'm okay for it.
Do you see anybody that looks like an archaeologist in there?
There's a lady in a hat.
Does she have any tools out like she's doing anything?
Yeah, there are a couple people who look like they might be archaeologists. Yeah, there's 3 or 4 people who are not doing the actual digging. Thanks for that comment. Travis saying he was just living his way and leave him be was the comment there. Leave his remains. This would be, if his remains are moved this time, this would be the 3rd time they're removed, because he was buried in the late 1800s, and then he was moved in 1920 and supposedly cremated, and so this would be the 3rd time. Thanks for tuning in, Jackson from Greenville. We had a news crew still out here from Jacksonville.
Lady just went in with a University of Florida bag on. Just went in.
Oh, okay. So a gentleman here said that there was a lady there with a University of Florida badge. Good question, Travis. Any way of talking to the hat lady? Yeah, I definitely will try to talk to the hat lady. So I don't have any information on why this decision was made now. There had been some debate about the monument, but it looked like there didn't appear to be any imminent action, and then so people who have been following the issue of Confederate statues were very surprised to see this statue suddenly gone. There are a few photos on the internet taken in dim early morning light showing the monument on the back of a truck being moved out. And supposedly the monument will eventually be taken to there's a 19 miles away, there's a fish camp, and that's also going to be the destination of another monument that's about 300 yards away that is being taken. There we go. Some people yelling USA, F yeah. Thanks for tuning in, Mr. Fribble and Robert Christensen. Robert says corporate control of our culture, which is anti-white, pro-black, and pro-gay.
So they're snooping around in there with that bucket, just looking around to see what they can do.
Yeah, they're digging. You can tell. They're digging along the edge of the base.
They don't know exactly where he's at. That's why. Why aren't they down there with hand?
Yeah, now there's a guy with a hard hat and a shovel. There's a woman with a hat and a black T-shirt. I'll bet she's an archaeologist or some sort of specialist. She's actually down there on her knees, digging around with her hands.
She should be on her knees, praying to God. Yeah, they're down on the ground with a bucket, digging. They're going to destroy it. They don't care.
Well, they were digging for a little while, and then it looks like they hit something, so they stopped using the heavy equipment and now are using hand tools to take a closer look. Here comes a Trump supporter.
So, again, this is my first one. So this was the stacks.
This was actually.
So here's Robert Christensen commenting, trying to control culture from above will lead to rebellion eventually.
We call this the monument. The
Mysterious Web says, I agree, you can't hide history.
The other one is the memorial.
Mr. Fribble, with the money they spent doing this, they could have restocked the food bank. Robert says, ask her questions. She's probably dying to speak to you on air. Yeah, she'll probably run when she sees me, but I will try to get something from her. Yeah, it looks like maybe they found something.
He's been here a long time ago, but shaved, she had a stroke or something. So he was in the meeting where he got talk about taking it down, so they voted on to take it down. They're moving it out. It's a memorial.
Yes, okay. Memorial monument. So when I said
This memorial thing here.
oh, memorial down there with all the other names.
Right.
Monument for one person. So
But the unique thing about this is
Quebec.
now they think that he was, I haven't seen his representation.
You know, and maybe it's just me, but I was thinking that
Find it out. So when I
as long as
say-
they're removing these remains, if that indeed is what's going to happen, wouldn't it have made sense to invite one of the relatives of the general, just as a matter of respect and transparency?
But they're working on taking that. This was the real spot. This is their spot.
I understand. Now,
But we as Confederates,
Well, they're focusing very carefully on one particular spot there, so
correct. And that
seems like they found something, but I just don't know.
so we have two situations.
Utopian says this won't end here. Leftists will ask for more until they take it all.
That was voted on to be removed, which is still
Thanks for joining, Peter from Seattle.
And this is the
this
city.
is controlled by the University of Florida.
Correct. That is the city.
Right, that is the city.
I understand.
And they said they were going to follow suit. They said this way back.
I mean, what I wonder is, you know, would descendants of this Confederate general, how would they feel about this guy nonchalantly sitting on the base of the monument with his feet over what could be the person's remains? I don't know. It just seems like there should be a little bit more decorum or something to recognize that we're talking about a human being.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay, and we're just trying to find out.
Again, remains or remains?
Remains.
Thank you. Is there a number that I can reach you?
Sure, I'll give you my number.
So, I got a question here. So why are they digging it up? You know, there was a suggestion in the debate over this particular memorial that they remove the monument, but then leave the remains in place and just put a simple headstone.
And I'll say that.
And that was one of the suggestions that I heard, but it doesn't look like that's what they're doing. Robert says, throw eggs, they will retreat. There's a question, how about the Native American burial ground we have disturbed? So right now they're just kind of chit-chatting. Looks like they're trying to figure out what to do. I don't know. Robert says 7 guys standing around. Thanks for tuning in, Utopian. Okay, the backhoe's going at it again. So they must have decided it's okay to go a little deeper. Well, I thought maybe they found some, but maybe not. They're digging a little more. Here's a comment from Reckless Renegade. Whatever happened to rest in peace? Yep, well, this general sure isn't getting to rest. Having to move 3 times. Donnie Bag says they'll know they're pointed in the right direction when they find a hand. Oh boy. Well, there's only going to, if there were a body there, there would only be one hand because the general's left arm was blown off by a musket ball. But if you believe what you read in Wikipedia, the remains will be ashes and not bones, because supposedly he was cremated. Kit Kat Kafta, thanks for that comment. Ain't no rest for the wicked. So for those of you who are just tuning in, what we're watching here is a heavy equipment digging around a monument to General William Loring. The actual statue of the general was removed before dawn today and taken to parts unknown. It was a big surprise to people who didn't want the Confederate monument removed, and several protesters have showed up this morning to make their feelings known. Here we got a comment from Top Cheesehead. Cover it with a dog park. Dogs can pee on him for eternity. Screeching Woman, ask her what she thinks about this. Will Mako says, who are they digging up? It is General William Loring. So the general's nickname was Old Blizzards, and that's supposedly because when he would send people into battle, he would tell them to go give them the blizzards. Here's a comment from the Tiny Bang Theory. These statues should stay to remember us of the past. Will Makos is asking, is this a grave? Well, it was a monument, and the remains were buried under the monument.
Yes, ma'am. He brought a megaphone.
Mayor James is commenting, I'm surprised Trump didn't snag that monument for the newly desecrated Rose Garden. Tiny Big Bang Theory says, what the F? They are digging up the person's body? That is effed up.
But he's supposed to put sidewalks right where
You can see they're digging.
Digging?
Yeah, they're digging around it. I don't think they know where it is.
They don't.
But they got no problem destroying whatever's in there to find it.
Shooting in the dark.
The present one.
So the company that moves the monument guaranteed total transparency.
Another comment, just oozing with diversity down there. Top Cheesehead says racists lose.
After the Civil War, he went to try to make a great
Mr. Fribble says, funny that there are more of us watching it than there are to whine about its removal. That is true.
Are the ones that are young colleges, don't understand, they get caught. My children are even generations. So, oh, now. What's up, Scott? This is how I feel about it. You're not making a $5,000 and bailing all the way around yourself. How can you trust your husband to say
Well, it's hard to tell what's going on now with that equipment in the way. There's a fence around this whole property that was put up overnight, from what I understand. So there's the fence, and it's really a double wide fence here, so it makes it harder to get up right up against the fence and stick my arm over. So because of that, then I'm on a trash can.
Do you mind while you're up there taking a picture for me?
Sure.
I want to put something on Facebook. This is ridiculous.
Of course. You want to hold that person?
Yeah,
How about pointing it at those folks? Because it's broadcasting live.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you. This is horrible.
Can you give me your opinion?
I'm sorry?
Would you mind giving me your opinion on it?
Yes, I think this is horrible. We're just erasing history all over our country, which is sad.
And how did you find out about it?
Well, my sister used to live in St. Augustine. She sold her house here, but they come back. I'm in Palm Coast, and I had heard about this, and I'd written the mayor an email hoping that some people would open their eyes and stop this, but apparently it didn't.
And so you came rushing over as soon as you heard of it?
Well, we were riding through. I wanted to show her what they were doing, and when I saw this, I didn't know they were doing it. When I saw this, I wanted to see what was going on, and I think this is atrocious.
What I understand is that it was taken out in the middle of the night.
Yes, at 1 o'clock this morning is what this guy just
1
told me. Yeah, they came and put a fence around it so nobody would know what they were doing, I guess.
And
it's very this country's in trouble. It's in trouble, and Trump is our only hope.
how do you think they should have handled this?
They should have had a vote, but unfortunately, I believe St. Augustine is so liberal now. It may have gotten approved, but they shouldn't have done this just with the city council saying it was okay just because one man asked for it to be done. I just think this is atrocious.
And are you speaking of Ron Rawls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For those who don't know, can you tell people who Ron Rawls is?
I just heard
Oh,
that
yeah,
he's
okay.
a minister that is from Gainesville, and apparently they gave him the AME church here, and I guess now he thinks he's on St. Augustine. I don't know, but this is a sad day. And my sister and I just agreed. We have loved St. Augustine our whole lives. I've been coming here for over 40 years. I don't think I'll ever come back downtown St. Augustine. and I will encourage all my friends to stay away, because if this is what they've turned into, I have no use for this. I think it's very sad, a very sad day. It almost makes me bring me to tears. It's sad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. Well, I don't have a very good vantage point anymore.
Are they pulling stuff out or what, boss?
No, they're just, here, I'll let you get up here. They're,
No, go ahead. Just tell me. I'm just curious.
yeah, I can't see anymore because the
Tractor on the way?
tractor's in the way, so I can't see what they're doing. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna sign off for a little while. You're welcome to get up here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off now, and I'll come back later to try to do an update. It's not clear if they found anything yet. They're still digging.